Hi, this is Mark from Wiki Design. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create this dynamic table right here with filters. So first, let me show you a quick demo. So if I just go ahead and select, let's say, a one bedroom, you could see that this table right here is going to be all dynamic. So whenever I choose anything along here, it's going to automatically update. And then this is all like a custom post type. You can also like move sliders around and you can remove the filters. In order to pull this off, you need to make sure that you have JetEngine from Crocoblock. And if you want to do the filtering, you can use JetSmartFilters, but if you just want a dynamic table and without the filtering, you could all just do that within JetEngine. And of course, I'm using Elementor for everything else. So let me jump into the back end of the website and show you how I have all this set up. And here we are on the back end of that page. And as you can see, I have a custom post type just called units. And then under each one of these, you can see I have a different radio button for the bedrooms, the bathrooms, square foot, rent, and then availability. So let me jump over into JetEngine and show you how I have this set up. So now I'm under the custom post types inside of JetEngine. If I click on units, you can see exactly how I have this set up. So you can see the post type name is units. This is the slug. I'm going to hide the meta field names. I kept most of all this right here, but just by default, so I didn't really change out anything. But let me scroll down and see if anything kind of stands out. Down here underneath supports, if you want to have it where just on that page, you just have a title. So if you don't need all this other WordPress stuff, you can always disable it right here. And pretty simple. So underneath meta fields, you can see I have my bedrooms. And I just have a unique name for each one. So bedrooms, I got field, and then radio right here. So they can just only choose one. And then the options are one bedroom, two bedroom, kind of standard meta box stuff. And same thing for bathrooms. It's basically exactly the same thing. And if I go underneath rent and square foot, you could see these first two are radios. These next two are numbers. And then this is a date. So if I just jump over into square foot, you could see the field type is just a number. And everything is just kind of by default. So the main part of this tutorial, of course, is going to be the table. So once you have your meta fields all set up, you need to make sure that underneath your units or whatever you call it, just make sure you have a few in here already. So you can see right here, I have 11. So I did that on purpose because after you get past 10 items, that's when pagination might look a little bit different on your page. So I'm going to show you how you change all of that inside of JetEngine. So once you have some units in here, now what we need to do is go underneath JetEngine. And we need to go to the query builder. And I have a whole bunch in here. The one I have is just called all units. So the way it works is in order to do the table, you have to make sure you have your custom post type, your meta fields that I just showed you. You have to have the query built first, and then you can jump into the table. You got to kind of do it in that order. So I'm just going to call this one all units. And you can see right here, I'm just choosing post query. And the post type is the one I just created. So you just go in here and choose whichever one you created. And then I'm just going to order it by title, and that's it. I didn't change anything else over here. This is a very simple query. Now what you need to do is make sure that you enable this option right here underneath JetEngine. So if you go underneath your JetEngine, you're going to want to go down here and make sure you have Dynamic Tables Builder on. So once you do that, it's going to add this external module to your JetEngine. And then once you enable that, you're going to see this new tab over here called Tables Builder. So once you go and click on that, you just go ahead and click Add New. And then this is how I have mine set up right here. So you're just going to want to give it a name. And then this query that we just built, that's why you need to build that first. Choose the query. So you won't need to click that button if this is your first time building out this table. And then what you need to do is just go underneath and click New Column. And then add all of the columns that you want. So if I go back into my page, you can see I have the 6 columns. So we have unit, bedroom, bathroom, square foot, rent, and availability. And in this first column, I'm going to just call it unit. I made sure I chose raw value. And then you could choose this button right here. It says post term user object field. So in that case, I just wanted to pull in the title of that post. So you could see right here, I just did that. And then I just chose title. So that's going to be whatever you named it inside of your custom post type. That's going to pull in the title. Now we can go on to the meta fields. So all of these are now meta fields. So if I click on bedroom, you can see I have the name is just bedroom. Raw value, I chose meta field instead of this one right here. And then you could choose right here. I like how it just visually, you just choose it right here. So you don't have to worry about getting the custom name and then pasting it in here. It's all going to be within the interface right here. And then bathroom, same thing. I just chose the meta fields for bathrooms. And then if I go down to square feet, it's very similar. You just choose the meta field, and I just showed square feet. So the only one that might be a little bit different is if you have a date. So under availability, you can see I have everything up here the same. Meta field, it shows availability. But this button right here, you're going to want to go ahead and click filter column output. And then underneath the filter callback, they have a whole bunch of options in here. So you want to format the date. Because if I don't do that, let me show you what happens. If you have a date and you don't format it, this is how it's going to look on the front end. It's just going to look like all this gibberish numbers. This is how your server is reading a date like that. That's how it's in the database, so it doesn't really make any sense to us. So that's why you would want to go in here and just do the filter. And if you just choose format date, that's all you're going to need to do. And right here, if you click on this documentation, they go ahead and show you, this is all from WordPress itself. So you can see there's a whole bunch of different ways you can format how you want your date, but like right down here. So you can always just copy this code right here, these little numbers, letters, whatever it may be, and then just paste that back into here if you want to format it a specific way. So you can see if I hit format date, I go back, it's going to actually have it where the user can actually understand what this stuff means. And then after you have all of your columns in here, you can see they have this other tab right here called table styles. And if you want, this is where you can override how wide you want the width of each one of these things. And then down here, you can change the alignment for vertical and horizontal. I didn't change any of this stuff right here because it by default looked pretty good. And inside of Elementor, you're going to be able to change how it kind of visually looks. But if you need to override anything, this is where you're going to go ahead and override. If you want, like, let's say units to be forced at like 25%, that's where you can go in here and just change like units to 25% right here. So it gives you a little more control over how the table is going to look. So here we are on the Elementor page, and if you just do a search for dynamic, and then you're going to see this last one here called dynamic table, you're just going to want to go ahead and click that in. And the very first thing is you need to make sure you choose the right table. So what you need to do is whatever you named it right here. So if you have multiple tables on your website, whatever this name is right here, so it says all units, you're just going to want to go ahead and select that. And then right here, you probably want to have this one on. This is going to show the heading right here. So if I turn that off, you can have it like that if you want. You can also have the names in the bottom. So if you have a long list, if someone's toward the bottom, they won't have to like scroll up and see the top. So they give you a few options right here. And then this right here is horizontal scroll. So if you're going to have a table like this on mobile, what it's going to do is, let me turn this over to mobile so you can see. It's going to give the user the ability to scroll left and right, because if you turn that off, it's not going to have the ability to scroll. So they don't give you any really mobile controls, just the horizontal scrolling. And if you need to override for some reason a different query, you can always do that right here. But let's just go ahead and keep that by default. Go back to desktop. And you can see right here, they give you some options. So you can change the width of this right here, depending on what device you're on. Headers, this is where you can go ahead and override the colors from your theme or anything like that. You can change it right here. And then the body, this is if you want to have different color backgrounds. You can go ahead and just choose like a different color. So if I wanted to make it where it's all like a gray color, you can go ahead and do that. But if you notice right here, every other one is like a different color. In most cases, this is probably going to be inside of your theme. So you might need some custom CSS if you want to override this right here where it's like different colors every other one. So that's how you add the dynamic table to your website. Now the next part of the tutorial, I'm going to show you how I was able to add these filters and the pagination in right here. And we're going to start with the pagination first. So you can see right here, I have 11 items. So it should be ending in 303. But if I go back to the page right here, you're going to notice that it stops at 302. And that's because by default, WordPress is automatically going to lock this down to like 10 items. So there's two different ways that you can change out how many items you want displayed. And the best way is to go back into your query builder, the one that we just created. If we go to all units, if you go underneath right here where it says pagination, you see right here where it says post per page, you could do a -1. So that's going to show all of them. So if you wanted to show 50, you would type in 50. But if I go back here, you're going to now see 303 is going to be right here. So that's the 11th item. And then that pagination widget kind of disappeared. So if I go back into the page, this is part of your JetSmartFilters. So you can go ahead and just click and drag in the pagination widget. And you can see right here, when you do that, there's going to be this option to select the pagination is for JetEngine dynamic table. So when you do that, it's going to show up down here. And of course, you can style out how this all is going to look on the front end. But let's go ahead and go back into our query builder, and let's just say we have 5. So it should now have a couple different numbers down here for your pagination. So you can see it's going to show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now the user can click on 2. You can see 5 more, and then the third one is just going to have 1. So that's how your pagination is going to work using JetSmartFilters. Another way that you can change out your pagination is if you go underneath the WordPress settings. So settings, reading, and right here where it says blog post show, if I just change that to, like, let's say 2, hit save, hit refresh, this is now going to show 2. So I don't recommend relying on these numbers right here because this is like a global setting. So this is like a fallback. This is like, if you don't know how to change pagination at all in your query builder, you can go ahead and do it here. But I highly recommend going back into your query builder inside of JetEngine and changing it there. That way you're going to have a lot more granular control over each one of your feeds. So now I'm going to jump into my JetSmartFilters and show you how I have everything set up. So the very first one is this one right here called Bedroom Select. And so you can see I just gave it a name, Bedroom Select. This is a select field. I just clicked on Custom Fields, gave it a placeholder name, Bedrooms. And then this right here is called Bedrooms. And let me show you, if you go back into your post settings, all of your meta fields are going to be within right here. Whatever you named them right here where it says name ID, that's what we're going to be using in all of the JetSmartFilters. So whatever you have here, I would recommend copy and paste it into a clipboard. So it makes the next steps a lot easier. And you also need to make sure that you choose this button right here. It says get choices from field data. You're going to want to choose JetEngine, and then you have to put that meta field down here again and just put equals. So that's all you need to do for each one of these. So if I go into the bathroom, it's going to be the same exact thing, but just changing the word bedrooms to bathrooms. Those settings are the same. Now let me show you how a slider is going to look. So if I go into the square foot slider, let me show you how that one's going to look. So I gave it a filter name right here. I'm choosing range. And then this is where you can, give it a little more control. So you're not going to want to get the min-max dynamically. You don't have to worry about that. So down here, you can give it a min and max value. So let me go back to the page. You can see it starts at 600 square feet and ends at 3,000. So that's what these controls are right here. And then every time a user slides this, it goes in increments of like 100. So depending on what filter you're going to use, you can change that to, you can see right here, you can do 1, 10, you can do 0.1, whatever it may be. And then these two values, you can add any sort of information before or after the value. So I wanted to have it where it says square feet after this number. So 600 square feet, 3,000 square feet. So that's what that is right there. And then number of decimals, I'm going to keep it at 0. And then if you need to have a decimal separator, you could do a dot. And in this case, I needed a separator for a column for the 1,000. So if it's just like 3,000, I wanted to have 3, 0, 0. And then whatever you called that meta field, you're just going to go ahead and put that information in right here. And then you can give it a label down here. And so when you display it on the front end, that's what this label is right here. And that's it. So now if we go back into the other one called rent, it's just like the slider, but what we're doing is just changing the values. So you can see the mid value is 1,200, max is 4,000, and then I'm having a $sign in front of the value. And then I kept everything else pretty much the same and just change out this query variable to rent. That's it. So now I'm on this page right here, and you can see I have 2 select filters, and then this is called the range filter. So you're just going to want to go ahead in here and just type in the word select filter, click and drag that in. And then you're just going to select the one we just created. So this one's called the bedroom select. And then down here, just like the pagination, you need to go ahead, and this filters for the JetEngine dynamic table. And then keep this on Ajax. So when they change it, automatically will update right here. And that's it. So the other one is very similar. You just go ahead and choose the bathroom select. Same options right here. And then inside of Elementor, you can go ahead and just type in the range filter for these two. Just go ahead. Same thing, you're just going to want to choose the filter, and then make sure you choose JetEngine Dynamic Table, and rent's the same process. Now I do like this button down here. This is how you can remove filters. So JetSmartFilters has it where you can remove any filters on the front end. So if the user has a whole bunch of these things selected, instead of having to like deselect it, you can just click this button and it goes back to the default. So if you just type in the word remove, you're going to see this filter called remove filters. just go ahead and click drag that in, and then underneath filter for is dynamic table right here for JetEngine. Very similar, and then you can change out the filter name right here. So if I go to the front end, you can see if I select 2 bedrooms, it's going to automatically update the 2 bedrooms. And if I choose 2 bath, and let's say I start to slide that rent down, you can see now I have like 1 result, and then I can click this button and go back to default. And that's it for how to create this dynamic table with filters using Crocoblock and Elementor. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and hit that bell to receive notifications when I release new tutorials like this. Again, this is Mark from Wiki Design.